between rebel leader Eknath Shinde and Maharashtra Bharatiya Janata Party chief Devendra Fadnavis in Vadodara. On 24th June evening, Shinde flew to Delhi in a Cessna private jet, left Guwahati at around 10:30 p.m, reached Delhi at around 12:45 a.m. He then left for Vadodara at 1 a.m. in a different jet, which was the Dassault Falcon 2000, that was waiting for him at the airport. That aircraft reached Vadodara at 2:30 a.m. Devendra Fadnavis left from Mumbai post 9 p.m. on 24th June in a private aircraft. Fadnavis first went to Indore and then from there he went on and landed in Vadodara. Devendra Fadnavis returned to Mumbai from Vadodara around 5:45 a.m. This entire sequence of events transpired in the dead of the night, without cameras and raising suspense. What was discussed cannot be good news for Uddhav Thackeray, who has been making frantic appeals to rebel MLAs over the phone. Sources suggested that Chief Minister Uddhav Thackeray's wife is also trying to douse the fire by attempting to convince the family members and partners of the rebel MLAs. The Shiv Sena is nearing a split. Eknath Shinde holding secret meetings with old friends. Where does that leave the Thackeray family? Here on. With Paulami Saha and Ankit Kumar, Bureau Report, India Today.
Right, so it's another big blow to the Uddhav Thackeray-led camp because another Shiv Sena MLA and a minister in the Uddhav Thackeray-led government is in fact en route to Hotel Radisson Blu in Guwahati. Uday Samant is an MLA from the Ratnagiri Assembly seat. He in fact flew out of Surat airport just a short while ago and is expected to be in Radisson Hotel in a short while from now. We believe he's already landed at Guwahati airport. It is yet another big jolt to the Uddhav Thackeray-led government. In fact, the Sena faction that is being led by Uddhav Thackeray, he has joined hands with Uday Samant with the rebel faction. He is the higher and technical education minister in Uddhav's government. He is known to be extremely close to Aditya Thackeray as well. In fact, just a couple of days ago, when meetings were happening in the Uddhav Thackeray-led faction, he was part of those meetings that were being led by Mr. Uddhav Thackeray as well. Now, there will be, including Uday Samant, there will be 8 ministers in the Eknath Shinde camp. Meanwhile, the only cabinet minister from the lower house left with Uddhav Thackeray will be Aditya Thackeray. And the tally as it stands right now with Eknath Shinde after the arrival of Uday Samant will be 39 Shiv Sena rebel MLAs and 9 independents. Now, after Eknath Shinde, of course, went ahead and tweeted about the fact that the state government allegedly out of vengeance had withdrawn the security of all the MLAs, in fact, leaving their families to, open to any kind of harm that could possibly come their way. He, of course, making that very, very clear. And today, of course, the decision by the centre to provide central security, which is Y+ category security, to 15 rebel MLAs. That security, in fact, has been provided to their families in various parts of Maharashtra. This is following threats of violence and vandalism against rebel MLAs on Saturday. The supporters of both Uddhav Shinde and Shinde, in fact, took out massive rallies today as well. Sena workers also held a bike rally from the Samna office in Mumbai, raising anti-Shinde slogans. Shiv Sena's Delhi unit took out a protest march at Jantar Mantar in Delhi in support of Sena chief Uddhav Thackeray. Shinde supporters, on the other hand, gathered outside Eknath Shinde's Thane residence in a show of support. Supporters of rebel Shiv Sena MLA Abdul Sattar gathered outside his office at Silod constituency in Aurangabad district.
Eknath Shinde is one of the most influential men in Shiv Sena's politics. And just outskirts of the Mumbai, be it the district like Thane, Dombivli, Kalyan, he has a stronghold. Now, in Kalyan's parliamentary constituency, his son, Shrikant Shinde, is a member of parliament. When the battle escalates, the Uddhav Thackeray supporters, the Shiv Sainik, escalated attack, even turned violent at multiple pockets, including one here in Ulhasnagar, which is the Kalyan parliamentary constituency. Shrikant Shinde's this office came under attack. Later, the Home Ministry, the Maharashtra government said there will be protection to all such establishments, even the family, the security will be restored. But what we are seeing here, now the police presence is quite very much here. But very interestingly, when the battle escalated, it was all right in front of a police station and just barely 60 feet of the distance. If you see the police station and this parliamentary office of Shrikant Shinde, that's barely 60 feet. Despite this attack was allowed. So that's clearly where the Maharashtra government comes under scrutiny and criticism that under your nose why such activities are being permitted. Eknath Shinde, a stronghold right outskirt of the Mumbai, Thane, Kalyan, Dombivli. But the dilemma continues for the supporters at large. They are Shiv Sainiks, believe in core ideology, but many are the staunch supporters of Eknath Shinde. And that's exactly the reason why they are maintaining a silent and just wait and watch moment for all of them. In Ulhasnagar, with Alok Das, I'm Ashutosh Mishra for India Today.
जिथे पूर आलेला आहे, लाखो लोक तरसलेले आहेत, त्रासलेले आहेत, पुरातून बाहेर येण्याचा प्रयत्न करत आहेत, त्यांना खायला अन्न नाही आहे, त्यांची घरं पुरामध्ये गेलेली आहेत, अशा लोकांच्या तिथे तुम्ही मजा मारायला जाता? जी सीआरपीएफची सिक्युरिटी काश्मीरी पंडितांना द्यायला पाहिजे होती, जी सीआरपीएफची सिक्युरिटी या आसाममध्ये लोकांना वाचवायला द्यायला पाहिजे होती, तिथे पोलीस यंत्रणा वापरली जाते, तिथे ही सीआरपीएफची सिक्युरिटी वापरली जाते. 8-8, 9-9 लाख पर डे ह्यांचे बिल्स आहेत, जेवणाचे, बाकीचे सोडून द्या. म्हणजे खाण्याचे बोलतो, जेव्हा आपण खाण्यापिण्याचे बोलतो, पाण्याचे आणि इतर मी बोलतच नाहीये.
हे जे 40 लोक तिकडे ते आहेत ना, ही जिवंत प्रेत आहेत, लक्षात घ्या. हे मुर्दे आहेत, त्यांच्या बॉड्या इकडे येणार आहेत, त्यांचा आत्मा मेलेला असेल, लटपट आहेत तिकडे. हे 40 लोक जेव्हा उतरतील तेव्हा ते जिवंत नसतील मनानं. त्यांना माहिती आहे इथे ही जी आग पेटलेली आहे, या आगीमध्ये काय होऊ शकेल. येऊन दाखवावं त्याने, आणि प्रकाश सुरू नाही तर येऊनच दाखवावं, माझं चॅलेंज आहे.
Right. In fact, there has been widespread violence that has been seen across the state of Maharashtra, where Shiv Sainiks have clashed. There are protesters and supporters of both factions that have hit the grounds, and it is likely that this is only going to escalate over the coming week as well, as this potboiler, of course, simmers further and is being fought on various fronts by both factions, be it the legal front or the front which is basically taking to the roads in view of the vandalism which has been in fact witnessed, where Shiv Sainiks, who are of course those who owe their allegiance to the Uddhav Thackeray-led faction, have in fact taken to the streets, vandalized some of the offices, property of the rebel MLAs who are holed up in Guwahati. In view of this, in fact, the centre has provided additional security, in fact central security, to these rebel MLAs, 15 MLAs to be very, very specific, to their families on the ground in Maharashtra. Y+ category security has been provided to them. Yesterday, in fact, Shrikant Shinde, who is Eknath Shinde's son, his office in Ulhasnagar had come under attack. Now, Eknath Shinde and his family, Shrikant Shinde and others, have been provided security at their, in fact, establishments in Kalyan and in Ulhasnagar as well. Today, in fact, the Shiv Sena, which of course believes in Uddhav Thackeray and in fact says he is their chief, has in fact taken out a protest in Jantar Mantar in Delhi as well. There were bike rallies as well. Let's listen in to some of these supporters of both factions.
लगातार जो यहाँ से मुंबई से सूरत गए, सूरत से गुवाहाटी गए, उनको चार्टर प्लेन मुहैया करवाया गया. वहाँ आसाम जो इस समय बाढ़ ग्रस्त है, वहाँ के मुख्यमंत्री को बाढ़ पीड़ितों की मदद करनी चाहिए. वह वहाँ पर जो है गद्दार विधायक, जो बागी विधायकों की मेहमान नवाजी की जा रही है. इस तमाम प्रोजेक्ट के अंदर, खेल के अंदर जो करोड़ों रुपए का इस्तेमाल हो रहा है, उसकी जांच की जानी चाहिए. और इसके साथ ही मैं नसीहत देता हूं कि तमाम जो बागी विधायक हैं वो गद्दारी शिवसेना के अंदर ना करें, वापस लौटे.
Udhav Sena and the Shinde Sena is turning uglier by the day. Violence, in fact, is breaking out across, the state of Maharashtra as well as we speak right now. In fact, burning of effigies, vandalizing of offices of rebel MLAs. We've seen it all. Here's a comprehensive report which tells you what is happening on the ground in Maharashtra as Shiv Sainiks take to the streets. So a lot of violence has been, in fact, been witnessed because there has been vandalism of offices, and the police, of course, is trying to control the situation. They've deployed more forces on the ground as well. Section 144 has been imposed in Thane, which is considered to be a turf of Eknath Shinde in Mumbai as well. But despite that, there have been incidents which have been reported, and both Sainik camps, in fact, Shiv Sainik camps, are out on the streets right now, and we anticipate that the situation could only escalate in the coming week as well, because tempers are in fact quite high right now. Watch this full report.
Violence, vandalism, arson, and a full-blown street fight. As the political scenario in Maharashtra escalates, Uddhav Sena's fury against rebel MLAs is now in full force. For Shiv Sainiks, all the rebel MLAs are traitors who've ditched Bala Sahib's legacy and his family in a very difficult time. And the Shiv Sainiks are on the rampage. And it's Eknath Shinde who's in the line of fire. Eknath Shinde's son, Member of Parliament Shrikant Shinde's office, was vandalized by Shiv Sainiks in Ulhasnagar. Offices, posters and anything linked to the rebel MLAs is now on target of the Uddhav Sena. Office of rebel MLA Tanaji Sawant in Pune was vandalized by the protesters who warned him of violent consequences the moment he returns to the tiger's den. Shiv Sainiks were also seen breaking window panes, shouting slogans against Tanaji Sawant.
एकनाथ शिंदे के जो भी नागपुर में बैनर लगेंगे, हम शिवसेना युवा सेना के तरफ से हम उनको लगने नहीं देंगे. ये हमारी तरफ से एक चेतावनी है. जो भी ये बैनर लगाएंगे उनके लिए.
In different parts of Maharashtra, effigies of rebel MLAs were burnt amidst chants of Shiv Sena Zindabad. This is in the first instance when offices of rebel Sena MLAs have been targeted. On the 23rd of June, Shiv Sainiks vandalized hoardings of rebel Sena MLAs in Mumbai. Hoardings of rebel MLA Mangesh Kuda.
You can see that entourage, in fact, moving in behind me. MLA Uday Samant, Shiv Sena MLA Uday Samant has in fact just arrived at Hotel Radisson Blu right now. This was anticipated. We'd reported earlier, India Today broke earlier, in fact, that the Shiv Sena MLA and a minister in the Uddhav Thackeray government, the higher and technical education minister Uday Samant had in fact jumped camps. He was en route from Surat to Guwahati. He just landed in Guwahati and he's just driven into the airport right now. Hotel, this is the vehicle. This is the vehicle, in fact, that we can show you right now. He's driving into the hotel. At the moment, Uday Samant, the 8th minister in the Uddhav Thackeray-led government, MLA minister, in fact, who is joining the ranks of Eknath Shinde as we speak, which means that in terms of ministers who were elected to the Legislative Assembly, that leaves Uddhav Thackeray with only his son, Aditya Thackeray, and a total of 3 ministers, which includes 2 MLCs, Subhash Desai and Anil Parab. With that, the total number of rebel MLAs goes up to 39 Shiv Sena and 9 others. That is the total figure that we're talking about right now. The Eknath Shinde camp viewers right now stands at a total of 48. More than 2/3 of the Shiv Sena Legislative Party is currently inside that one hotel behind me, Hotel Radisson Blu in Guwahati. That's the breaking piece of information that we're bringing to you right now. Uday Samant, considered to be extremely close to Aditya Thackeray, who is in fact very close to the Thackeray family, has jumped ranks as many days later. In fact, it wasn't possibly anticipated that the sudden inclusion in the Eknath Shinde camp would happen today, but that has happened. Uday Samant has just driven into Radisson Blu Hotel in Guwahati, the 8th minister from the Uddhav Thackeray-led government from the Shiv Sena portfolio, joining Eknath Shinde. Right, so viewers, that's the latest piece of breaking information that we're bringing to you right now. One MLA, and there is anticipation that there could be more. Now the Uddhav Thackeray-led faction is feeling a little demoralized because of the fact that legally, while they might think that they have a stronger case, that the legal aspect of the case is with them, especially with them having moved disqualification notices against 16 rebel MLAs, and them thinking that they've got these rebel MLAs under a bind. What we do understand is the numbers. The numbers game is purely with Eknath Shinde right now. 48 rebel MLAs expressing their support for Eknath Shinde. That is the big piece of it. Now, Uday Samant joins the Eknath Shinde ranks. So right, that is of course, those are visuals, viewers, live pictures that we just brought to you from Guwahati, from outside Hotel Radisson Blu. Uday Samant has just entered Hotel Radisson Blu. In fact, Uday Samant's name was one of the names that was doing the rounds as well for a while now, that he could possibly be jumping ship. But there was a lull for a few days. There were no new joinees, so to say, and it wasn't anticipated there would be this sudden joining. But now Uday Samant driving in to Hotel Radisson Blu. My colleague Anupam Mishra is now joining me live from outside Hotel Radisson Blu. Anupam, Uday Samant, the latest new joinee, the latest new guest, if you may, at Hotel Radisson Blu.
Yeah, Polumi, we have seen Uday Samant roaming with Uddhav Thackeray 2 days back, and now he enters inside the rebel camp. So now the number of rebel camp stands at 39, and the 9 independents constitutes it to 48 total numbers, and this is a big number. With that, Eknath Shinde is now planning to go to Mumbai, and the big question is when he is leaving Guwahati and will go to Mumbai, and that is what transpires from the meeting which was held inside by Eknath Shinde group, and they have been told, the other MLAs have been told by Eknath Shinde that they will be leaving soon to Mumbai, and Eknath Shinde also told them that be prepared for anything, because there is a concern of security, and we have seen that why category security has been provided to 15 families of MLAs in Maharashtra. So there is a big concern, and that is why Eknath Shinde has told other MLAs that you don't have to worry, you don't have to fear about the security, and the battle will be fought in two fronts. One front will be legal, and the second front will be constitutional. And the legal front, which transpires from the meeting that will be held, will be fought over the name which was suggested by the rebel camp on Balasaheb Thackeray's name. So they may go to court tomorrow. This is what sources are telling us. And the second battle, which will be fought on constitutional front, that is the formation of the government, and there is likely that they will start communicating with governor from tomorrow. So we are going to see a lot of happening from tomorrow. Polmi.
Absolutely, absolutely. Hectic, fast-paced developments over there. Viewers, we are breaking to you right now on India Today. Uday Samant, the 39th Shiv Sena MLA, is inside Hotel Radisson Blu. He's quite literally checked into Hotel Radisson Blu. Vidya is also joining me live from Mumbai right now. Vidya, what sort of a morale blow is this for the Uddhav Thackeray camp? Just a short while ago, before news came in today that Uddhav, in fact, Uday Samant has, in fact, Anupam is with me. We will try and get Vidya back as well. Anupam, what sort of a morale blow is this, do you believe, for the Uddhav Thackeray-led faction? Because just a few moments, in fact, before news broke that Uday Samant has, in fact, boarded that private jet from Surat to, in fact, land in Guwahati, Aditya Thackeray was claiming that the party and he were in touch with 16 rebel MLAs, but it looks like more of them are here than he could possibly be in touch with. And if they still are coming in, clearly the morale of the ranks behind you in Hotel Radisson Blu is much, much more higher and stronger as opposed to the morale of the ranks in Mumbai at the moment, Anupam.
Absolutely, Paulomi, the morale of the rebel group is already high, and we have seen that blow by blow for the past few days for Uddhav camp. So this is a very difficult, very challenging time for Uddhav to keep intact their cadres, their remaining party members, remaining MLAs. So it is a very, very testing time for Uddhav Thackeray, and I can tell you the morale is definitely very low in the Uddhav tank. And on the other hand, what we have seen for the past few days, the pictures, the visuals, and we have seen the celebration inside the Radisson Blu Hotel of one of the MLA's birthday celebration, and they are cutting cakes, they are celebrating it. So it's evident, it's clear from inside this Radisson Blu Hotel, the morale of this rebel camp is very high. They are spirited and they are ready to take the challenge, and that is what Eknath Shinde is trying to do for the past few days, because this was a big challenge for Eknath Shinde also to keep intact this team, and that is why we have seen this heavy security development outside and inside of the hotel. So there was big concern, and the MLAs who were coming constantly from Mumbai to Guwahati. So the spirit of this camp is, I can tell you from the pictures, from the visuals, and from the news, from the information from inside, that it's very high at this moment. All me.
You know, Anupam, we've been reporting from outside Hotel Radisson Blu for the past few days, and everyone kept talking about two-third majority. That was the figure of 37. But it looks like Eknath Shinde had a much bigger number in his mind, because the way that he continues to break the ranks of Uddhav Thackeray in Mumbai, that just shows that he's not stopped yet. He doesn't feel like his job is done yet. Why is he constantly expanding on the numbers, if you may so to say? He's reached the two-third mark of 37, but he keeps wanting to get more on board. In fact, we still hear that there could be more Shiv Sena MLAs that could be joining him. What is Eknath Shinde's game plan, Anupam?
Paulomi, see, there is a big concern when this camp will land to Mumbai, and there is a high possibility that a few of the MLAs may shift to other camp as the moment they reach to Mumbai. See, the conditions, the situations are very different in Guwahati and in Mumbai. Mumbai and Maharashtra is the base of Shiv Sena, and that is the big concern for Eknath Shinde, and that is why he was constantly trying to garner, constantly trying to add up the numbers. So if some of the MLAs switch over till the formation of the government, till the floor test, the numbers remaining with the Eknath Shinde group will be sufficient to form the government. That is what Eknath Shinde is constantly trying, and he knows that there might be possibility that if he lands in Mumbai, a few of them, maybe 2 or 3 MLAs may switch the other camp. So that is why this is the main reason behind adding up these numbers.
Okay, let's take that question with Vidya as well. Vidya, my colleague, is in Mumbai. Vidya, what is, say we talk about Monday, tomorrow, if this camp were to move to Mumbai, what is in your sense, because you've been covering this, what is a more likely scenario? Those from this camp shifting allegiance back to Uddhav Thackeray, or those from the Uddhav Thackeray ranks breaking away and joining Eknath Shinde? What looks more plausible in this scenario right now as we speak of it? Vidya? Pallavi, there are hardly anyone left for the, anyone to actually further go. It's just the Thackerays who are still remaining in the party. They are the only ones who have to actually decide whether they really want to break the alliance with the MVA and go with the BJP as Eknath Shinde has been stating, or just stay put as it is, because that is what it seems like. The entire party is being broken up only because of the sheer fact that Uddhav Thackeray and Aditya Thackeray have been deciding that they will stick to the MVA while Eknath and not agree to what Eknath Shinde has been stating. At the moment, the Shiv Sena led by Uddhav Thackeray is still very confident that when the MLAs come from Guwahati, remember they are also not just claiming this for the sheer reason that they feel that there might still be some love for the Thackerays as yet for the MLAs, but also because they feel that when as a lot of people have been from the Shiv Sena have been stating that the road from airport to Vidhan Sabha crosses quite a few of their constituencies like that of Aditya Thackeray's Worli area, and they have been saying that just cross Worli and show it to us, or cross Baikala and show it to us. So these kind of statements are actually still being made by these party people, and that's one of the reasons, like apart from the cabinet ministers of Uddhav Thackeray and the chief minister himself, apart from Aditya Thackeray, there are a few MLAs, but just handful of them about which Eknath Shinde was very sure that they would not come. He had specifically said that apart from 13 remaining in the party, there are most of them will of course come, and that is what we are seeing day by day. His strength is increasing, Pallavi, and probably that's the reason why they are still harping, the Uddhav Thackeray-led Shiv Sena, that when the entire MLAs come, there might be some who might come over to their side. Okay. This is definitely one of the most fast-paced and fast-developing stories that all three of us are definitely covering. Anupam, stay on with me now. A legacy war has also broken out between the Uddhav Thackeray-led Sena and the Eknath Shinde-led Sena. Now, Maharashtra Chief Minister Uddhav Thackeray has categorically stated that nobody can stake claim to Bala Saheb's legacy, especially after the Eknath Shinde-led camp in fact expressed a wish and a desire to call their group Bala Saheb Shiv Sena. Shiv Sena Bala Saheb is what they want to call their faction and group. Uddhav Thackeray has warned them, do not do that. You have absolutely no right or authority. Want to seek votes? Use your own father's name, not my father's. Watch this report. Shinde Sena versus Uddhav Sena war is now personal. The fight is for Bal Thackeray's name and legacy. At the Shiv Sena executive meet, Uddhav had a clear message for Eknath Shinde and the rebels.
ठाकरे आणि शिवसेना ही दोन शब्द वेगळे करून तुम्ही शिवसेना चालून दाखवाच. माझं आज सुद्धा आव्हान आहे. काळा बाळासाहेबांचाही फोटो वापरायचा नाही, मी तर नालायकच आहे. माझा फोटो लावूच नका. पण बाळासाहेबांचाही फोटो न लावता तुम्ही शिवसेना नावाने जगून दाखवा.
The message from Shiv Sena is clear. Uddhav Thackeray is only inheritor of Bala Saheb's legacy. The party is also going to move the election commission to stop the Shinde faction from misusing Bala Saheb's name.
We have taken unanimous decision that Shiv Sena will work under the leadership of Shri Uddhav Bala Saheb Thackeray, and whatever he deems fit in terms of action, in terms of reaction, in terms of legalities, in terms of technicalities, in terms of politically, we all stand firmly behind him.
Modi has just arrived at the G7 in Germany. He arrived in Munich earlier this morning. Prime Minister Modi there on a tour to Germany.
इंडिया का संकल्प है, रुकना थमना अब न विकल्प है, जो था अब दिखता अल्प है, कल्प वृक्ष ये बढ़ रहा है, ऐसे सागर चांद को देख बड़ी जैसे दुनिया के लक्ष्य में उभर रहा है, बदला आंखों से जो दिखता है, जन जन का मनोबल
Ladies and gentlemen, the moment you've all been waiting for, the Honourable Prime Minister of India, Shri Narendra Modi!
देखो आसमान में खिलकर सूरज निकल रहा है, देश का परचम अब ऊंचा उड़ रहा है, बरसों का अंधेरा रोशन हो रहा है, गरीब की रसोई से धुआं हट रहा है। मेरा देश, मेरा देश, मेरा देश, मेरा देश बदल रहा है, आगे बढ़ रहा है, मेरा देश बदल रहा है, आगे बढ़ रहा है, मेरा देश बदल रहा है, आगे बढ़ रहा है, मेरा देश बदल रहा है, आगे बढ़ रहा है। देखो
Ladies and gentlemen, please be upstanding for the Indian National Anthem.
नमस्कार। कैसे हैं आप सब? मुझे बताया गया कि आप में से कई लोग आज बहुत दूर दूर से लंबा सफर तय करके यहां आए हुए हैं। मैं आप सभी में भारत की संस्कृति, एकता और बंधुत्व के भाव का दर्शन कर रहा हूं। आपका ये स्नेह मैं कभी भूल नहीं सकूंगा। आपके इस प्यार के लिए, इस उत्साह और उमंग के लिए मुझे पूरा विश्वास है जो लोग हिंदुस्तान में इन खबरों को देखते होंगे उनका भी सीना गर्व से भर गया होगा। साथियों, आज का दिन एक और वजह से भी जाना जाता है। आज 26 जून है। जो डेमोक्रेसी हमारा गौरव है, जो डेमोक्रेसी हर भारतीय के डीएनए में है, आज से 47 साल पहले इसी समय उस डेमोक्रेसी को बंधक बनाने, डेमोक्रेसी को कुचलने का प्रयास किया गया था। आपातकाल का कालखंड, इमरजेंसी भारत के वाइब्रेंट डेमोक्रेटिक इतिहास में एक काले धब्बे की तरह है, लेकिन इस काले धब्बे पर सदियों से चली आ रही लोकतांत्रिक परंपराओं की श्रेष्ठता भी पूरी शक्ति के साथ विजयी हुई। लोकतांत्रिक परंपराएं इन हरकतों के लिए भारी पड़ी है। भारत के लोगों ने लोकतंत्र को कुचलने की सारी साजिशों का जवाब लोकतांत्रिक तरीके से ही दिया। हम भारतीय कहीं भी रहे अपनी डेमोक्रेसी पर गर्व करते हैं। हर हिंदुस्तानी गर्व से कह सकता है कि भारत मदर ऑफ डेमोक्रेसी है। लोकतंत्र का हजारों वर्षों का हमारा इतिहास आज भी भारत के कोने कोने में जीवंत है। इतनी सारी भाषाएं, इतनी सारी बोलियां, इतने अलग अलग तरह के रहन सहन के साथ भारत की डेमोक्रेसी वाइब्रेंट है। हर नागरिक का विश्वास है, उसकी आशा है और प्रत्येक नागरिक के जीवन को सशक्त कर रही है। भारत ने दिखाया है कि इतने विशाल और इतनी विविधता भरे देश में डेमोक्रेसी कितने बेहतर तरीके से डिलीवर कर रही है। जिस तरह करोड़ों भारतीयों ने मिलकर बड़े बड़े लक्ष्य हासिल किए हैं, वो अभूतपूर्व है। आज भारत का हर गांव ओपन डेफिकेशन फ्री है। आज भारत के हर गांव तक बिजली पहुंच चुकी है। आज भारत का लगभग हर गांव सड़क मार्ग से जुड़ चुका है। आज भारत के 99% से ज्यादा लोगों के पास क्लीन कुकिंग के लिए गैस कनेक्शन है। आज भारत का हर परिवार बैंकिंग व्यवस्था से जुड़ा हुआ है। आज भारत के हर गरीब को 5 लाख रुपए मुफ्त इलाज की सुविधा उपलब्ध है। कोरोना के इस समय में भारत पिछले 2 साल से 80 करोड़ गरीबों को मुफ्त अनाज सुनिश्चित कर रहा है। इतना ही नहीं, आज भारत में औसतन हर 10 दिन में, आज स्टार्टअप की दुनिया है ना, हर 10 दिन में एक यूनिकॉर्न बन रहा है। आज भारत में हर महीने एवरेज औसतन 5000 पेटेंट फाइल होते हैं। आज भारत हर महीने एवरेज औसतन 500 से अधिक आधुनिक रेलवे कोच बना रहा है। आज भारत हर महीने एवरेज औसतन 18 लाख घरों को पाइप वाटर सप्लाई से जोड़ रहा है, नल से जल। भारतीयों के संकल्पों की ये सिद्धियों की लिस्ट बहुत लंबी है। मैं अगर बोलता जाऊंगा तो आपके डिनर का टाइम हो जाएगा। साथियों, कोई देश जब समय पर सही फैसले लेकर सही नीयत से सभी का साथ लेकर चलता है तो उसका तेजी से विकास होना निश्चित है। आप सभी इस बात से परिचित हैं कि पिछली शताब्दी में तीसरी औद्योगिक क्रांति का जर्मनी और अन्य देशों ने कितना लाभ उठाया। भारत उस समय गुलाम था और इसलिए वह इस दौड़ में भी बहुत पीछे रह गया। लेकिन आज 21वीं सदी का भारत चौथी औद्योगिक क्रांति में इंडस्ट्री 4.0 में पीछे रहने वालों में नहीं बल्कि इस औद्योगिक क्रांति का नेतृत्व करने वालों में से एक है। इंफॉर्मेशन टेक्नोलॉजी में, डिजिटल टेक्नोलॉजी में भारत अपना परचम लहरा रहा है। दुनिया में हो रहे रियल टाइम डिजिटल पेमेंट्स में से 40% ट्रांजैक्शन भारत में हो रहे हैं। आज भारत डेटा कंजम्पशन में नए रिकॉर्ड बना रहा है। भारत उन देशों में है जहां डेटा सबसे सस्ता है। 21वीं सदी के नए भारत में लोग जितनी तेजी से नई टेक्नोलॉजी अपना रहे हैं वो किसी को भी हैरान कर सकती है। कोरोना वैक्सीन लगवाने के लिए वैक्सीनेशन सर्टिफिकेट पाने के लिए बनाए गए कोविन पोर्टल पर करीब 110 करोड़ रजिस्ट्रेशन हुए हैं। कोरोना संक्रमण की ट्रैकिंग के लिए बनाए गए एक विशेष ऐप आरोग्य सेतु से आज करीब 22 करोड़ भारतीय जुड़े हुए हैं। सरकार द्वारा खरीदारी करने के लिए बनाए गए गवर्नमेंट ई मार्केट प्लेस यानी जेम से करीब 50 लाख विक्रेता सेलर्स जुड़े हुए हैं। आज 12 से 15 लाख भारतीय ट्रेन से आने जाने के लिए हर रोज 12 से 15 लाख टिकट ऑनलाइन बुक करा रहे हैं। आज भारत में ड्रोन टेक्नोलॉजी का जिस तरह इस्तेमाल हो रहा है वो अभूतपूर्व है। आप जानकर के हैरान रह जाएंगे कि अब देश के अनेक क्षेत्रों में ड्रोन से फर्टिलाइजर को छिड़काव होने लगा है। भारत में सरकार ने एक योजना शुरू की है स्वामित्व योजना। इस योजना के तहत देश के लाखों गांवों में जमीन की मैपिंग, घरों की मैपिंग का काम ड्रोन ही कर रहे हैं। इस अभियान के द्वारा करोड़ों नागरिकों को प्रॉपर्टी सर्टिफिकेट दिए जा रहे हैं। प्राकृतिक आपदाओं के समय, राहत और बचाव के समय भी ड्रोन टेक्नोलॉजी का इस्तेमाल भारत में लगातार बढ़ रहा है। साथियों, आज का भारत होता है, चलता है, ऐसे ही चलेगा। उस मानसिकता से बाहर निकल चुका है दोस्तों। आज का भारत की पहचान है, करना ही है और समय पर करना है। इस संकल्प के साथ हिंदुस्तान चल रहा है। भारत अब तत्पर है, तैयार है, अधीर है। भारत अधीर है प्रगति के लिए, विकास के लिए। भारत अधीर है अपने सपनों के लिए, अपने सपनों को संकल्प के लेकर के सिद्धि तक पहुंचाने के लिए अधीर है। भारत आज अपने सामर्थ्य में भरोसा करता है, अपने आप में भरोसा करता है। इसलिए आज हम पुराने रिकॉर्ड तोड़ रहे हैं और नए लक्ष्य हासिल कर रहे हैं। आप किसी भी क्षेत्र में देखिए, मैं उदाहरण देता हूं आपको। भारत ने 2016 में तय किया था कि 2030 तक हमारी कुल बिजली उत्पादन क्षमता का 40%, 40% नॉन फोसिल फ्यूल से होगा। अभी 2030 से हम 8 साल दूर हैं, लेकिन भारत ये लक्ष्य हासिल कर चुका है। हमने पेट्रोल में 10% एथेनॉल ब्लेंडिंग का टारगेट रखा था। ये लक्ष्य भी देश ने डेडलाइन से 5 महीने पहले ही हासिल कर लिया। भारत में कोविड वैक्सीनेशन के स्पीड और स्केल से भी आप भली भांति परिचित हैं। आज भारत में 90% एडल्ट्स को वैक्सीन की दोनों डोज लग चुकी है। 95% एडल्ट्स ऐसे हैं जो कम से कम 1 डोज ले चुके हैं। ये वही भारत है जिसके बारे में कुछ लोग कह रहे थे कि 1.25 अरब आबादी को वैक्सीन लगाने में 10-15 साल लग जाएंगे। जब मैं आपसे बात कर रहा हूं तो भारत में वैक्सीन डोज का आंकड़ा 196 करोड़ यानी 1.96 बिलियन को पार कर चुका है। मेड इन इंडिया वैक्सीन ने भारत के साथ ही दुनिया के करोड़ों लोगों की कोरोना से जान बचाई है। साथियों, मुझे याद है कि साल 2015 में जब मैं जर्मनी आया था तो स्टार्टअप इंडिया अभियान एक आइडिया के स्तर पर था, शब्द कान पे पड़ते थे। तब स्टार्टअप वर्ल्ड में भारत का कोई नाम निशान नहीं था, कोई जानता ही नहीं था। आज भारत में दुनिया का तीसरा सबसे बड़ा स्टार्टअप इकोसिस्टम है। एक समय था जब भारत साधारण से साधारण स्मार्टफोन भी बाहर से मंगाता था। आज भारत दुनिया का दूसरा सबसे बड़ा मोबाइल फोन मैन्युफैक्चरर है और अब भारत में बने मोबाइल दुनिया भर में जा रहे हैं। साल पहले जब मैं आप जैसे साथियों से चर्चा करता था तो हमारी बायोटेक इकोनॉमी $10 बिलियन यानी 75,000 करोड़ रुपए की हुआ करती थी। आज ये 8 गुना अधिक बढ़कर $80 बिलियन यानी 6 लाख करोड़ रुपए को पार कर चुकी है। साथियों, मुश्किल से मुश्किल हालातों में भी भारत के लोगों का हौसला ही हमारी सबसे बड़ी ताकत है। साथियों, पिछले साल हमने अब तक का हाईएस्ट एक्सपोर्ट किया है। ये इस बात का सबूत है कि एक और हमारे मैन्युफैक्चरर्स नए अवसरों के लिए तैयार हो चुके हैं, वहीं दुनिया भी हमें उम्मीद और विश्वास से देख रही है। बीते ही वर्ष भारत ने $111 बिलियन यानी 8,30,000 करोड़ रुपए के इंजीनियरिंग गुड्स का एक्सपोर्ट किया है। भारत के कॉटन और हैंडलूम प्रोडक्ट्स के निर्यात में भी 55% की बढ़ोतरी हुई है। भारत में मैन्युफैक्चरिंग को बढ़ाने के लिए सरकार ने करीब 2 लाख करोड़ रुपए की प्रोडक्शन लिंक इंसेंटिव PLI स्कीम भी शुरू की है। अगले साल हम अपने एक्सपोर्ट टारगेट को और भी बढ़ाना चाहते हैं और आप लोग इसमें काफी मदद भी कर सकते हैं। इसी तरह हमारा FDI इनफ्लो विदेशी निवेश भी साल दर साल नए रिकॉर्ड बना रहा है। साथियों, जब किसी देश के नागरिक सबका प्रयास की भावना के साथ, जन भागीदारी की भावना के साथ राष्ट्रीय संकल्पों को सिद्ध करने में जुट जाते हैं तो उन्हें दुनिया की बड़ी बड़ी शक्तियों का भी साथ मिलने लग जाता है। आज हम देख रहे हैं कि किस तरह दुनिया की बड़ी शक्तियां भारत के साथ कंधे से कंधा मिलाकर चलना चाहती है। अपने देशवासियों की संकल्प शक्ति से आज भारत प्रगति के पथ पर निरंतर आगे बढ़ रहा है। हमारे लोगों के संकल्पों से, उनकी भागीदारी से भारत के प्रयास आज जन आंदोलन बन रहे हैं। यही जो मुझे देश के भविष्य के लिए आश्वस्त करता है, भरोसा देता है। उदाहरण के तौर पर दुनिया में ऑर्गेनिक फार्मिंग जैसे शब्द चर्चा का विषय बने हुए हैं, लेकिन भारत के किसान खुद आगे आकर इसे जमीन पर उतार रहे हैं। इसी तरह क्लाइमेट चेंज आज ये भारत में केवल सरकारी पॉलिसीज का मुद्दा नहीं है। भारत का युवा ईवी और ऐसी ही दूसरी प्रो क्लाइमेट टेक्नोलॉजी में इन्वेस्ट कर रहा है। सस्टेनेबल क्लाइमेट प्रैक्टिसेस आज भारत के सामान्य से सामान्य मानवी के जीवन का हिस्सा बन रही है। 2014 तक भारत में खुले में शौच एक बड़ी समस्या थी, लेकिन हमने देश में 10 करोड़ से ज्यादा शौचालय बनवाए। आज स्वच्छता भारत में एक जीवन शैली बन रही है। भारत के लोग, भारत के युवा देश को स्वच्छ रखना अपना कर्तव्य समझ रहे हैं। आज भारत के लोगों को भरोसा है कि उनका पैसा ईमानदारी से देश के लिए लग रहा है, भ्रष्टाचार की भेंट नहीं चढ़ रहा है। और इसलिए देश में टैक्स कंप्लायंस तेजी से बढ़ रही है। ये किसी कानूनी प्रक्रिया के कारण नहीं है, बल्कि स्वतः स्फूर्त जागरण से हो रहा है। दोस्तों, साथियों, हम सभी भारतीय इस साल अपनी आजादी के 75 वर्ष का पर्व मना रहे हैं, अमृत महोत्सव मना रहे हैं। आजादी के 75वें वर्ष में भारत अभूतपूर्व इंक्लूसिवनेस और इससे प्रोत्साहित होने वाली करोड़ों एस्पिरेशंस का गवाह बन रहा है। भारत आज अभूतपूर्व संभावनाओं से भरा है। भारत एक मजबूत सरकार के नेतृत्व में, एक स्थिर सरकार के नेतृत्व में, एक निर्णायक सरकार के नेतृत्व में नए सपने भी देख रहा है, नए संकल्प भी ले रहा है और संकल्पों को सिद्धि में परिवर्तित करने के लिए जी जान से जुटा हुआ भी है। हमारी पॉलिसी स्पष्ट है और रिफॉर्म्स के लिए भरपूर कमिटमेंट है। 5 साल बाद हमें कहां पहुंचना है ये भी तय है, और आने वाले 25 साल के लिए जब देश आजादी की शताब्दी मनाएगा, 25 साल के बाद हमें कहां पहुंचना है, 25 साल के लिए आत्मनिर्भरता का रोड मैप भी तैयार है। साथियों, वो दिन चले गए, वो दिन चले गए जब दुनिया में कुछ होता था तो हम रोना रोते थे। भारत आज वैश्विक चुनौतियों का रोना रोने वाला देश नहीं है, बल्कि भारत आज आगे बढ़कर इन चुनौतियों का समाधान दे रहा है। कोalition फॉर डिजास्टर रेजिलियंस फंड CDRI के माध्यम से हम पूरी दुनिया को आपदाओं से लड़ने में सक्षम बनाना चाहते हैं। आज हम इंटरनेशनल सोलर अलायंस के जरिए दुनिया भर के देशों को एक मंच पर ला रहे हैं ताकि सस्ती और एनवायरमेंट फ्रेंडली एनर्जी का लाभ दुनिया को दे सके। वन सन, वन वर्ल्ड, वन ग्रिड, ये सपना हमने दुनिया के सामने रखा है। इसके लाभ भारत ने बीते 8 वर्ष में खुद अनुभव भी किए हैं। भारत में सोलर पावर की रिकॉर्ड कैपेसिटी तो बिल्ड हुई है, ये 2-2.5 रुपए प्रति यूनिट के हिसाब से उपलब्ध है। ग्रीन हाइड्रोजन को लेकर भी जिस स्केल पर भारत काम कर रहा है, जर्मनी जैसे मित्र देशों के साथ साझेदारी कर रहा है, तो उसमें भी मानवता का ही हित है। भारत में WHO सेंटर फॉर ट्रेडिशनल मेडिसिन स्थापित होने से भारत दुनिया की प्राचीन चिकित्सा पद्धतियों का ग्लोबल सेंटर भी बन रहा है। साथियों, योग की ताकत क्या है, ये तो आप भली भांति जानते हैं। पूरी दुनिया को नाक पकड़वा दिया है। साथियों, आने वाली पीढ़ियों के लिए आज का नया भारत नई विरासत बनाने पर काम कर रहा है। नई विरासत बनाने के इस अभियान की सबसे बड़ी ताकत है हमारे नौजवान है, हमारा यूथ है। भारत के युवाओं को सशक्त करने के लिए 21वीं सदी की पहली एजुकेशन पॉलिसी लेकर हम आए हैं। पहली बार भारत में मातृभाषा में डॉक्टरी और इंजीनियरिंग की पढ़ाई तक का विकल्प दिया जा रहा है। जर्मनी में रहने वाले आप सब लोग तो जानते हैं कि मातृभाषा में डॉक्टरी इंजीनियरिंग पढ़ने का कितना लाभ होता है। अब यही लाभ भारत के युवाओं को भी मिलेगा। नई एजुकेशन पॉलिसी में हायर एजुकेशन और रिसर्च के लिए ग्लोबल पार्टनरशिप पर भी बहुत अधिक फोकस है। इसका जिक्र आज मैं इसलिए भी कर रहा हूं क्योंकि इसमें जर्मनी के संस्थानों के लिए भी बहुत सारे अवसर बन रहे हैं। साथियों, बीते दशकों में आपने मेहनत से, अपने काम से भारत की सशक्त छवि यहां बनाई है। आजादी के अमृत काल में यानी आने वाले 25 साल में आपसे अपेक्षाएं और बढ़ गई है। आप इंडिया की सक्सेस स्टोरी भी है और भारत की सफलताओं के ब्रांड एम्बेसडर भी है। और इसलिए मैं आप सब साथियों को, विश्व भर में फैले हुए मेरे भारतीय भाइयों बहनों को हमेशा कहता हूं कि आप राष्ट्रदूत हैं। सरकारी व्यवस्था में 1-2 राजदूत होते हैं, मेरे तो करोड़ों राष्ट्रदूत हैं जो मेरे देश को आगे बढ़ाएंगे। साथियों, आप सबने जो प्यार दिया, जो आशीर्वाद दिए, जो उत्साह और उमंग के साथ इतना बड़ा शानदार कार्यक्रम बनाया, आप सबको मिलने का मुझे मौका मिला, इसलिए मैं एक बार फिर आप सभी का बहुत बहुत आभार व्यक्त करता हूं। आप सब स्वस्थ रहिए, खुशखुशाल रहिए। भारत माता की, भारत माता की, भारत माता बहुत बहुत धन्यवाद।
In Munich. In fact, he gave quite an encouraging, motivating speech there on that platform as the Indian diaspora had organized a massive gathering there in Munich in welcome for the Prime Minister Narendra Modi. Let's take a listen to all that cheer and welcome Indians in Munich have given Prime Minister Modi.
आसमां में खिलकर सूरज निकल रहा है, देखो आसमां में खिलकर सूरज निकल रहा है, देश का परचम अब ऊंचा उड़ रहा है, बरसों का अंधेरा रोशन हो रहा है, गरीब की रसोई से धुआं हट रहा है। मेरा देश, मेरा देश, मेरा देश, मेरा देश बदल रहा है, आगे बढ़ रहा है, मेरा देश बदल रहा है, आगे बढ़ रहा है, मेरा देश बदल रहा है, आगे बढ़ रहा है, मेरा देश बदल रहा है, आगे बढ़ रहा है। देखो आसमां में खिलकर सूरज निकल रहा है, आसमां में खिलकर सूरज निकल रहा है, देश का परचम अब ऊंचा उड़ रहा है, बरसों का अंधेरा रोशन हो रहा है, गरीब की रसोई से धुआं हट रहा है। मेरा देश, मेरा देश, मेरा देश, मेरा देश बदल रहा है, आगे बढ़ रहा है, मेरा देश बदल रहा है, आगे बढ़ रहा है, मेरा देश बदल रहा है, आगे बढ़ रहा है, मेरा देश बदल रहा है, आगे बढ़ रहा है। देखो आसमां में खिलकर सूरज निकल रहा है, देखो आसमां में खिलकर सूरज निकल रहा है, देश का परचम अब ऊंचा उड़ रहा है, बरसों का अंधेरा रोशन हो रहा है, गरीब की रसोई से धुआं हट रहा है। मेरा देश, मेरा देश, मेरा देश, मेरा देश बदल रहा है, आगे बढ़ रहा है, मेरा देश बदल रहा है, आगे बढ़ रहा है, मेरा देश बदल रहा है, आगे बढ़ रहा है, मेरा देश बदल रहा है, आगे बढ़ रहा है। देखो आसमां में खिलकर सूरज निकल रहा है, देखो आसमां में खिलकर सूरज निकल रहा है, देश का परचम अब ऊंचा उड़ रहा है, बरसों का अंधेरा रोशन हो रहा है, गरीब की रसोई से धुआं हट रहा है। मेरा देश, मेरा देश, मेरा देश, मेरा देश बदल रहा है, आगे बढ़ रहा है, मेरा देश बदल रहा है, आगे बढ़ रहा है, मेरा देश बदल रहा है, आगे बढ़ रहा है, मेरा देश बदल रहा है, आगे बढ़ रहा है। देखो आसमां में खिलकर सूरज निकल रहा है, देखो आसमां में खिलकर सूरज निकल रहा है, देश का परचम अब ऊंचा ऊंचा उड़ रहा है, बरसों का अंधेरा रोशन हो रहा है, गरीब
Prime Minister Narendra Modi there receiving a huge reveillous welcome in Munich, possibly for the first time that we're seeing the Indian diaspora gathering in large numbers post the pandemic. And this was to greet Prime Minister Narendra Modi at the Audi M Dome Stadium, where it was embellished with Indian flags, and loud cheer and a warm welcome to the Prime Minister. Lovina Tandon, who's India Today correspondent, joining us live right from Munich. Lovina, over to you. What's the fervour like?
The moment you've all been waiting for, the Honourable Prime Minister of India, Sena.
ये आप मोदी जी को देने वाले हैं?
ये यहाँ ट्राई करूँगा, अभी तो बहुत ट्राई कर चुका हूँ सुबह से। ये देखते हैं।
ये आपने खास तौर पे माँ को लेकर बनाया है, हाँ? क्या इसके पीछे भावना है आपकी?
इनके माँ का बर्थडे था रिसेंटली, अभी म्यूनिक आने वाले थे, तो सही मौका मिला मुझे ये पर्टिकुलर पिक्चर ड्रॉ करने का।
और क्या कहेंगे देते समय?
पता नहीं। I think I'll go.
मैं बता सकती हूँ, नरेंद्र मोदी जी को अपने माँ से बहुत प्यार है, and he also likes his mother very much. Giving that into relationship, he has done it, and he has taken more than 90 hours of effort within 1.5 weeks. That's a lot of effort.
All right, shifting our focus to Maharashtra political crisis. The Shinde camp has now moved the Supreme Court in a case. In fact, the Shinde camp now urgently seeking a hearing from the Supreme Court, are seeking to hear the matter likely tomorrow. This is their petition that they've appealed for the Supreme Court for an urgent intervention. 2 petitions have been filed in the Supreme Court by the Eknath Shinde camp. One challenges the notice that the Deputy Speaker has issued, and that notice speaks of disqualification of at least 16 rebel MLAs. So they're challenging that disqualification notice issued by the Deputy Speaker. And on the other hand, another petition now that's been filed against the appointment of Chaudhary as the leader of the Legislative Party. Remember, earlier Eknath Shinde was a man who was the leader of the Legislative Party, but now Maharashtra's Deputy Speaker approves Ajay Chaudhary as the Shiv Sena Legislative Party leader, which now the Shinde camp has objected to. They filed a petition with the Supreme Court against this appointment of Chaudhary now being the Legislative Party leader. Shinde camp before the Supreme Court. Shinde camp challenges the appointment of Ajay Chaudhary as Shiv Sena Legislative Party leader, and also rejection of the no confidence motion against the Deputy Speaker. On the other hand, the Shinde camp further asking the Supreme Court to direct the Deputy Speaker not to take any action on disqualification plea against them until the motion of removal of Deputy Speaker now is decided. Further, they have also asked for direction to the Maharashtra government to provide security to the family of those rebels who are currently under threat. Shinde camp has approached the Supreme Court today, the registry, for urgent listing of this plea, at least tomorrow at the earliest. Anisha Mathur joining us for a little update on that. Anisha, this was inevitable. Shinde camp approaching the Supreme Court. Give us the points on the petition.
Well, Nabila, 2 petitions as of now have been moved by the Shinde camp. One in the name of Eknath Shinde himself, and the other by Sena leader Bharat Singh Gogawale, who's one of the rebel MLAs, who have challenged 2 things in particular. One, that the disqualification notice that has been issued by the Deputy Speaker to the rebel MLAs, there should be no proceedings on that till their plea regarding the appointment of the Deputy Speaker itself is heard. Secondly, what they've said is that Ajay Chaudhary could not have been appointed as the leader of the Legislative Party because, according to them, they have the majority of the MLAs of the Shiv Sena. They have the support of the majority, and therefore no decision by the Legislative Party could have been taken. Now, at the moment, what we're being informed is that their lawyers are trying to get the Supreme Court registry to list this matter for urgent hearing tomorrow morning. At this moment, they're still waiting for a response from the registry, but very clearly, the Shinde camp approaching the Supreme Court first, trying to get their point across, trying to get some relief from the apex court. And if we see the history of such cases in India, in the Maharashtra case in 2019, in the Karnataka case, in the Goa case, or any other cases where there have been such rebellion by MLAs, or there have been such breakaway camps. The Supreme Court has always said that there must be a floor test on the floor of the House to see who exactly has the numbers, who has the powers. But at the moment, their petitions are saying that their petitions are saying just these two things: that Ajay Chaudhary could not have been appointed as a Shiv Sena legislature party leader, and Deputy Speaker should not take any action on the disqualification plea. In addition, they've also said that they fear that there could be some threat to them and their families, and therefore they've asked for security to the family of all of these MLAs. But we'll have to wait and see whether the Supreme Court agrees to hear this matter tomorrow. Back to you.
All right. Anisha, stay with us. We also have Vidya joining us along with Polmi. Vidya, at this point, we're looking at petitions filed in the Supreme Court, which was inevitable. But this comes soon after the lawyer of Uddhav Sena came out, Devdutt Kamath, spelled out the actual legalities on how the Shinde camp cannot escape disqualification notice. They've got to respond to the notice at least by tomorrow evening, 5:30 p.m. That's the deadline, we believe. But even before that day could arrive, here is the Shinde camp rushing to the Supreme Court. Was expected, but do you think this will hold any water?
Nabila, the preparations for these petitions had already started way beyond, before Devdutt Kamath actually held the press conference today. The petitions were ready and were filed, and were, in fact, the other side, that is Devdutt Kamath himself, has also been served a notice so that tomorrow they do not have to be served with the petition. Then they will take time to read it and go through it and things like that. So formalities for the hearing have already taken place, as Anisha herself was also stating. Of course, Devdutt Kamath and the entire team will also be representing the Uddhav Thackeray-led Shiv Sena, and the Deputy Speaker also would be represented in the court, of course, bearing the fact that the petition would be served on all these parties. Of course, the hearing would take place depending on whether the judges are willing to urgently hear the matter, or would want to get the entire, the affidavits filed, the basic proceedings completed in this before the actual arguments take place. So it all depends on the bench before it goes, before the hearing really happens. But at this juncture, both the parties, both the factions, the Shiv Sena led by Eknath Shinde as well as the Shiv Sena led by Uddhav Thackeray, really hoping that the legalities work in their favor. The fact remains that the outcome in these hearings will certainly impact the entire political outlook of Maharashtra. The floor test, as Anisha was mentioning, might certainly be, as one of the things that would really happen because of the proceedings also. At this moment, the floor tests have not been done as yet. So it remains to be seen what exactly happens there in the hearing, which will then determine what happens in Maharashtra politics in the next coming week, per se.
Yeah, all right, stay with us. I'm going to cut across to Polmi, who's right there in Guwahati outside that resort. Polmi, what's the churn that happened in that Guwahati resort that we see the rebel camp rushing to the Supreme Court with their two petitions? This comes soon after Uddhav Thackeray's lawyer for the Shiv Sena, Devdutt Kamath, spelled out explicitly on how these rebel MLAs cannot escape from disqualification. Soon after that, we hear a petition has been now filed in the Supreme Court. Anything happened inside? What kind of discussions did ensue?
Well, what they anticipated is, because the Deputy Speaker, of course, their own allegation, the Deputy Speaker belongs to the NCP. It is a possibility that the Deputy Speaker would go ahead and disqualify them eventually. And hence, they've tried to preempt that and gone to the Supreme Court in order to put a stop to that. That is their plea before the Supreme Court right now, that the Deputy Speaker, who himself faced a no-confidence motion, again, something that the Deputy Speaker already has dismissed their petition of a no-confidence motion filed against him on the 22nd of June on the basis that he had, of course, removed Eknath Shinde as the leader of the legislative party of the Shiv Sena and appointed Ajay Chaudhary in this place. They had moved a no-confidence motion against him. He dismissed it, saying, no, this seems to have come from some random email address. I don't even know who's written to me. So this stands dismissed. They have challenged that and said, we challenge that. And because there is a no-confidence motion against him, he's not qualified. He's a member of the Legislative Assembly as well. There's a no-confidence motion against him. He's not qualified to disqualify anyone else. So they've gone out on all fronts possible, challenging Ajay Chaudhary's appointment, challenging the dismissal of their no confidence motion against the Deputy Speaker, asking for a stop to be put to the disqualification notices which have in fact landed in the Deputy Speaker's office, for which they've received summons, and of course seeking additional direction to the Maharashtra government to provide security for their families on the ground. Nabila.
Pallavi, when was the notice for disqualification issued against the rebel MLAs? Yesterday?
Yesterday it was issued, and the timeline given was 48 hours. So they have until Monday, which is tomorrow, 5:30 p.m. to file in their written responses. Their argument was, this is too soon. We need 7 days time at least. 2 days and 48 hours is not what you can give us. But that was the technical argument. Like I said, otherwise they anticipated, because the Deputy Speaker belongs to the NCP, it's only a matter of time. He will just, even if you file written responses, he's probably going to say unsatisfactory, you stand disqualified. So they've preempted that and gone straight to the Supreme Court saying,
but they've appealed to the Supreme Court close to 24 hours after the issuance of the disqualification notice, raising, of course, questions on whether they also are slightly uncertain about the options they have legally. Anisha, would you be able to corroborate that? At this point, it's already been 24 hours since the Speaker issued a disqualification notice. As much as they've acted all cool and calm and composed, the rebellion camp today, 24 hours later, post Devdutt Kamath coming out and spelling how they can't escape disqualification, now they've rushed to the Supreme Court. Where do you think their petition will really stand in terms of the Supreme Court intervening with immediate effect? Do you think this will be considered on an urgent basis?
Well, Nabila, we'll have to wait and see what the registry of the Supreme Court says, whether the judges are willing to take up this matter on an urgent basis. But as Paulami and Vidya said, that these MLAs have rushed to the Supreme Court with all guns blazing. They've raised all the aspects of the issues that are there in Maharashtra right now, whether it is the disqualification, whether it is the Deputy Speaker's appointment, whether it is the Legislative Party leader's appointment. They have raised all of these issues and they're hoping to get some sort of relief. But as we were discussing earlier, if you see the history of such cases, in the Karnataka case in 2018, in the Maharashtra government formation case in 2019, in the Goa case, in the Rajasthan case, in Arunachal Pradesh case, every single time, instead of looking into the question of disqualification or non-disqualification, the Supreme Court has first of all said that whatever happens in the House has to be decided on the floor of the House. And this is very basic tenet of the law.
Direct them for a floor test.
The House has to happen on the floor of the House. There must be a floor test to determine who is in power and who exactly has the authority to make any decisions. And at the moment, since we also have this entire factionalism happening in the Shiv Sena, where these MLAs have claimed that they are the real Shiv Sena, and the Uddhav Thackeray Shiv Sena is they have separated from the Uddhav Thackeray Shiv Sena. What will happen to their disqualification? Can they be considered a legitimate breakaway political group? That is something that will have to be considered, of course, as per evidence later.
And besides, it's for the Election Commission to decide on whether they can be, in fact, whether they can be given all rights of the Shiv Sena party. The rebel faction can be considered as the real Shiv Sena. It's for the Election Commission to decide based, again, on some criteria and protocols on that. Vidya, maybe give us some clarity on that. Vidya, first question is, what's setting Eknath Shinde back when it comes to asking for a floor test? Why is he not coming out and saying, let's go in for a floor test? If he really has the numbers, what's stopping him from staking claim? That's what leaves us suspicious on whether his words are, well, you know, even whatever the suspicion here, the visuals speak for itself. He's got the numbers and that's understood. It's there. The visuals very clearly say that he's got close to 38 Shiv Sena MLAs, while he's got about 10 independents supporting him. Very easily, he could come and take away the floor test to his advantage.
But remember, it has to be as what? Like he's not a Shiv Sena. He has to prove that he is the original Shiv Sena and not the Uddhav Thackeray-led government. The Shiv Sena is not the original Shiv Sena. He has to take on the command of the party before doing that. You know, or he has to merge with either of BJP or the the other Prahar party. So either of it has to happen. He cannot just be an independent entity in himself and say that I'm demanding a floor test
hai. So there are various nitty-gritties to this entire equation that is unfolding in Maharashtra. It's not as simple, and that's the reason why.
No, so then,
Eknath
Vidya,
Shinde
why
is
don't you
taking
help
so much
us
of
understand
time. He
what's
is
stopping? Help us understand then what's stopping Eknath Shinde from merging with the BJP. Does that go against his narrative that he wants to stay true to Balasaheb Thackeray's ethos and ethics? Does that defy the entire narrative that he is now unleashed? Is that what's stopping him?
Precisely. He cannot and will not join the BJP. In fact, of the two devils that he has in front of him, he could actually join with the Prahar party, but not with the BJP, because it is the BJP which is being seen as the party which has taken the entire Shiv Sena away. Now, with the BJP being the bigger enemy amongst the most Shiv Sainiks that are across, in Maharashtra, it will certainly not look good on the part of Eknath Shinde to join BJP. Moreover, he has been saying completely all the time that he is a Shiv Sainik. Even now, he is stating he is not leaving the party. He is still saying that he owes his allegiance to Balasaheb Thackeray and that he will not leave the party. But he just wants the original Shiv Sena, the entire Shiv Sena, the Uddhav Thackeray-led Shiv Sena, to accept that they do not want to go with the MVA but to go with the BJP. Now, that's not really happening. So, since that is not happening, there has to be a mid-path which has to be drawn in by both these factions of the Shiv Sena to either survive, or if they really want to disintegrate, then Eknath Shinde has to find a route out to find out as to what is his political career ahead, whether he can be a part of BJP, whether he can be a part of Prahar, or he will let go of his MLA-ship and go in for election again and come back in a new term. So all those things will have to be decided by the Eknath Shinde faction.
So it's quite evident that on either side, it's not going to be easy. Even the Uddhav camp or neither the Eknath Shinde camp, both of them are not finding this so easy. They may have expected this to be, especially Eknath Shinde may have expected that since he has the numbers, this could be a easy victory for him and his camp, but clearly there are legal complications here, which even Uddhav Thackeray's team is now exploring. So on both sides, both camps remain defiant and are ready to fight. Thank you very much. Our reporters joining us from different parts of the country, giving us the latest updates, the most accurate, the most in-depth. On the other side of a short break, mega Sunday bipoll surprises. BJP rests key SP bastions of Rampur and Azamgarh. Details on the other side of a short break. Stay with us.
You are watching India Today.
Make your media plan smarter with India Today Live TV on your connected devices. Amplify your brand with 100 million smart internet viewers. To advertise, mail us at sales@aajtak.com or call 9999892171. Make your media plan smarter with India Today Live TV on your connected devices.
You are watching India
everyone's busy finding what's trending. You're busy finding out why. India Today, for those who research before reacting. Download the India Today app now. Make your media plan smarter with India Today live TV on your connected devices. Amplify your brand with 100 million smart internet viewers. To advertise, mail us at sales@aajtak.com.
You are watching. You are watching India Today.
Mega Sunday by-poll surprises. BJP rests key SB bastions of Ranpur and Azamgarh. Humiliating defeat for AAP in Chief Minister Bhagwant Mann's Lok Sabha turf. Here's a complete detailed report on that.